So what up, FPS gamers? You know who it is. If you don't, it's your boy Shake. And it's time to kick some of those actual factuals to you about Titanfall. And this is pretty much my comprehensive breakdown of my likes and dislikes. This is not a full review. This is just my thoughts on the game so far. I know that we are all in what I like to call the honeymoon stage, and as you guys know, I was not an early adopter of the Xbox One, so I know that this video, or this likes and dislikes video, is coming to some of you guys a little later than most. Obviously, a lot of reviews have came out. You guys know my track record. You can go ahead and research or look on my channel and see all the FPS games and all the various different types of games that I put on my channel. My channel's pretty diverse when it comes to that, and I come with a lot of experience in playing video games in general over the span of my lifetime. So I do want to be a little cautious about what I say about Titanfall. I don't have too much written down. I have a couple of bullet points, some things that I want to express. Again, we're still in early stages of this game, so I don't really know how to express my true feelings on the game until it's been out for a little while. So let's go ahead and discuss some of the things that I can already talk to you about. Starting with the graphics. As you guys can see, I know that YouTube does not do any game any justice, whether it be PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, or whatever gaming device you utilize. At the end of the day, Titanfall's graphics are still very reminiscent to the Xbox 360. I was not impressed by this next generation graphical experience that I thought I was going to be receiving when purchasing this game. You know, in my opinion, I think the graphics could be a lot better. And dare I say that it kind of reminds me of Homefront at 60 frames per second with fast mechs? Maybe that's a little harsh, I'm not really sure. There are some visuals in the background, but the actual, you know, face value graphics that you are normally used to seeing, and this is not a talk about resolution and frames per second, but this is really just in reference to how the actual graphics look and whether or not they're impressive to you. And in my opinion, I think things could be a lot better. And I know some of you guys are thinking,
well, this is a new generation and the graphics are only going to get better.
I feel you on that, but I have already seen quite a few games that have made that huge leap, and this is not one of them. The ambience of the world around you is amazing. So is the art and the essence of the living environment in the background. But at the end of the day, I just feel like there's a lot more that can be done in this department. But that's not what sells Titanfall. It's the experience and the gameplay. So let's dive into the gameplay. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on that. I think the gameplay is phenomenal. Probably the best FPS gameplay I've ever played. The mechanics are absolutely crazy. There's an essence of a cat and mouse chase down. There's none of that if you see me first, that automatically means I'm dead. I like that aspect of the game. It allows for more diverse gameplay, and you know, it allows for more skill involved when it comes to the shooter mechanics. Every map feels like it has its own personality. Every single map that I've played on feels like a giant playground. The action is chaotic. Kind of reminds me of being in the arcades in the 1990s. All you hear is sounds of carnage everywhere, explosions and robots, and it's really a cool experience to witness this game. When it comes to the wall running, we have to kind of get rid of the years of conditioning that we have playing the traditional shooters, i.e. Call of Duty. In this game, there's really no standard path. There's all sorts of ways to traverse the environment. And I think that comes with a little bit of time, you know, getting used to how to play this game. The game speed and the pacing is what I love most about the movement in this game. In my opinion, adaptation to the new playstyle is easy, but you still have to overcome your old habits and get used to a whole new dynamic of playstyle. The controls are extremely responsive. I don't seem to have any problems aiming and killing my opponents in front of me. Or the guys over at Respawn really worked hard to reinvent player movement in this title, and it almost feels like a love letter to the fans of FPS games who like me like to run around and feel like a ninja and, you know, feel almost unstoppable. One of my concerns were of the bots in this game, and In my opinion, they are definitely cannon fodder. They're just drones meant to keep the pace of the action. You know, they reduce your Titan build time and they help you level up and unlock weapon attachments. But everyone gets a Titan. I seen a tweet recently where I saw Oprah Winfrey. Someone had a meme of Oprah Winfrey saying, everyone gets a Titan. You get a Titan, you get a Titan. But the game is called Titanfall after all, so you would have to expect that there would be a tremendous emphasis on the Titan gameplay. Every single time that I get into a Titan, it feels awesome. It doesn't feel played out or old. Every single time I got into a Titan, it felt incredible. When I boarded my first Titan, I couldn't help feeling like Ed 209 from the RoboCop movies or the Iron Giant. There was just something about the atmosphere that made me feel like a giant dinosaur stomping on little humans or something like that. It really is an invigorating feeling, and it's something that I haven't really felt before in any other first-person shooters. I did find myself calling in my Titan only when I see other Titan fights going on, but things will change. Who knows? We'll see. I mean, I did that mainly because I wanted to double team some of the Titans out there and help my team win. Burn cards are fun. I didn't feel like they were overpowered. They add something new to look forward to, and I don't feel cheated when I die in this game. That's one thing that didn't really happen too often, particularly in the Call of Duty series. I tend to say something that most gamers say along the lines of, what? How did I get killed? How did that happen? You know? This is BS! Not in Titanfall. I didn't feel like I was complaining too much when I got killed. I could always watch the instant replay and see how I was either outgunned or stomped on by a Titan. In a nutshell, I feel like Titanfall's a good balance of competitive gameplay and the overall fun factor. One of my other big concerns was the content in this game. Is it going to last long? Well, the storyline is pretty weak and short. Hopefully they'll put out some other material where you can read up on the folklore of the story, but you won't actually get it in the game during the little campaign that they do. When they asked Vince Zampella, they asked him if it was because they wanted to try something new, or was it because it was the reality of working with a smaller team? I'm going to tell you that I don't feel like they were trying to do something new. I'll get to that towards the end of the video. You get 2 virtually identical 9-mission multiplayer matches, all told through a narrative, no traditional cutscenes, and as it stands, I may have to wait for Destiny if I want to lose myself in the folklore of a next-gen sci-fi action first-person shooter game. There's a very small amount of guns, very little ways to play in terms of previous, traditional first-person shooters. If you think of games like Battlefield, where you can level up your tank or level up your flying skills in a jet, or level up your flying skills in a chopper, or play with the light machine guns, play with a various assortment of SMGs, DMRs, assault rifles, and tons of sniper rifles. And then you have several different classes you can play with in those variations as well, such as the support class, the medic, or the engineer. This game doesn't really have that. It's kind of just throwing you right into the fight. You pick a gun, not very many to choose from, and you get yourself a few grunt kills. There's 15 maps, and I think that's a great list to kind of start off with. The level design is remarkable in this game. I think that these are perhaps some of the greatest maps that I've ever seen in any first-person shooter. It just feels like every time I say I have a favorite map, I run into a new map that feels like it's even better. And every map so far feels different every time that I play it. If I've played one map more than once, it still feels different the second time I've played it. They do have a leveling system, and it's, your traditional weapons and enhancements unlocks, and I can't help feeling that I'm hoping that there's a lot of DLC for this title. Another big factor when it comes to talking about games, in my opinion, is the fun factor. I grew up playing games like Halo 3 and laughing my ass off all night long at the funny animations and the crazy things that took place, and the original Call of Duties, COD 4 and then Modern Warfare 2. I remember actually laughing when I played those games, and this is something that's pretty near and dear and close to my heart when I play games. I want to laugh, I want to have fun, I want to feel like it's entertaining to me on more than one level. Titanfall is a lot of fun, and it's inviting, giving you a sense of victory even if you lose. It almost feels like you've won even though you've lost. You never feel like a loser when you play this game. At least I didn't feel like one. I found myself smiling and enjoying myself more than feeling frustrated or irritated by cheap perks or weapon attachments like in other shooters. The invisible campers are annoying, and seeing too many Titans while you're on foot can be very intimidating. And some sniper locations are tough to get to, and they require some skill to jetpacking to get there to stop them from slaughtering people from a distance. Sometimes I feel like your only disappointment is when you see your pilot kill score at the end of a round. Sometimes you feel like you just dished out so much damage and you did so much work, and then all of a sudden you look at your score and you've killed 5 or 6. You've killed 6 pilots. Especially after it felt like you killed 40 people. One other thing that I noticed in this game is that there's various frame rate issues or frame rate lag. I'm not even sure what to call it. I don't know if it exists on the PC version or obviously the 360 version whenever that comes out, but at the end of the day, I did notice it on the Xbox One, and it does concern me. One of the major questions that a lot of people have is this a console seller? In my opinion, the gameplay sells this game. You know, a lot of reviewers, I asked you guys in the beginning to be thoughtful of some of the people that review games. You know, for some of the big websites, are they seasoned FPS gamers? You know, do they play first-person shooter games all year long? Do they indulge in other first-person shooter games and fully sink their teeth into the multiplayer experience of other shooters? Before you start listening to some of these other reviewers and they tell you
the game is so great because it's so fun,
try to wonder whether or not they're selling you on the game, and you know, you'll go out and buy the game and then you're bored of it in the next 3 months. Another thing I want to talk about is the experience as a whole. This game is all about the experience and less about competition. I'm a competitive FPS gamer that sort of relies on unlocks, customization, you know, living targets, and a sense of accomplishment, which kind of scares me because this game feels like it's lacking in those areas. The only sense of accomplishment I have is at the end of a round, it feels like, mainly because you just don't feel like you lost anything at the end of a round. To wrap up my thoughts, I had this feeling that this game was rushed. And I know this might come to a shock to some of you guys, or maybe some of you guys think I'm just hating on the title. Keep in mind, I do plan on playing this a lot. I do plan on posting some videos and sharing my experiences with you guys, maybe even doing some live streams. But in terms of the quality of this game, I just have a feeling that it's rushed. Listen to what this developer says about 6 months before the game release.
The game was never meant to be 6-on-6 until probably 6 months ago. Dialing back that player count a little bit made the game, it allowed it to breathe. You know, it allows players to breathe. And you know, when you have a game that's unpredictable and very fast, like what Titanfall is, you know, I think players, after they spend some time with the game, will really appreciate the fact that it's 6-on-6. Might even wish that it was 5-on-5 or 4-on-4, because you can't predict the way the enemy's going to come, and you can do that in most first-person shooters. You understand the maze, you know where they're going to show their heads, you know the 2 ways they can come in, but you're never safe in time. You really are not ever safe.
It was a little too crazy. We had higher player counts that we played with, and because, you know, we started to learn the importance of situational awareness and being able to have that right level of insanity while being able to process what's going on, and therefore if you can't process what's going on, you're not going to have much fun ultimately. So we pared it down to a point, and we got to a point where we felt this is enough craziness to feel exciting and you know, and dynamic and vibrant. At the same time, it's not so much that I can't quite grasp what's going on, or if I'm getting hit from too many sides at once.
Now see, the developer said 6 months from February. That's roughly somewhere between August or September, was when they made the decision to scale back the number of living players. Their excuse was extremely weak, basically saying that they didn't want it to be too hectic or hard for the gamer. Since when has that ever been a problem? This lends credence to my belief that they scaled back the competition, the learning curve, and the difficulty so that everyone who's anyone, FPS enthusiasts or casual gamers, could feel like a winner no matter what in Titanfall. And because of some of the frame rate issues and maybe not a full understanding of the architecture of the Xbox One just yet, maybe there's some complications with putting more than 12 Titans on a map at one time. You know, I've noticed some lag in the frame rate, and it only lends me to believe that if you had 9v9 and 18 Titans running around, and they'd have to redesign the maps, and maybe there'd be even more frame rate issues, and they'd have to go back to the drawing board on whether or not to just give people a Titan. You get a Titan! You get a Titan! Everyone gets a Titan! You see, this all fits perfectly with my notion that the Xbox One was designed to be for a TV watching, water cooler chilling, casual gaming audience. What game would fit that large Xbox 360 COD audience better than the casual, fast-paced, easy mode arcade first-person shooter game better than Titanfall? Sony is up 6.1 million to Microsoft's 3.7 million worldwide, with Microsoft predicting that Titanfall would help sell another 500,000 Xbox One consoles. In fact, I heard recently that they just recently sold another 700,000 after the release of this game. With other games such as Drive Club, Watch Dogs, The Division, and even Destiny getting pushed back to a later date for better production, it sort of makes me wonder if Titanfall's lack of content, a true next-gen graphical experience, the scaled-back living opponents, and frame rate lag is all a result of this game being rushed just to sell Xbox Ones. I mean, even the 360 version got pushed back. If you're a Titanfall developer, you know that this is just the beginning, and you have to feel like your game is unfinished, especially if you're to make sequels of this game. I just can't shake the feeling that this game is a $60 demo of what's to come from Respawn Entertainment. I have a lot of fun playing this game, sparingly, which means I sort of space out my time with this game so it doesn't bore me too quickly. With the hope of DLC content, Titanfall is very promising, but it still leaves me contemplating how great Titanfall 2 will be in the near future. So don't get me wrong, this is a phenomenal game. The gameplay is where it's at. The experience, the funny moments, they're all there. When it comes to next gen, you have to make a decision. Is it the gameplay or the graphics, or is it a combination of the two that you're looking for? And if you're a PS4 owner, I don't think you should have to feel like you need to go out and spend $500 on an Xbox One, another $60 on the game, another $60 for the Xbox Live Gold subscription fee. Unless spending $600 is a drop in the bucket for you, this is a great game, but it's not a must-have. So it's your boy Shake. These are just my first impressions. Go ahead and leave your thoughts in the comments. And as always, I'll holla at you dudes later!
You told me 15 years ago on board the Odyssey to take the ship. Now I'm giving you the same choice. Pilot, this is McAllen. If you're still on the ground out there, it's been an honor serving with you.
On the frontier today, the IMC's port of Demeter was attacked by militia insurgents. Reports are sketchy, but indications are that the refueling facilities sustained major damage in the battle. Numerous casualties are indicated, including the mutineer James McAllen.